Everybody, and welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today, that's interesting. I actually have a functional green screen going on over there. Looks like there's a bit of a Marvel Avengers Alliance. Okay, I'll go with it. So, that was not intentional. It was a bit of a surprise. I forgot I set that up. I wonder if that is coming through. Yeah, that's coming through the NVIDIA broadcast app. Okay. Anyway, so today's video, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about 2 games that I've dropped and 1 game that I've picked up. Now, I'm not counting Marvel Realm of Champions, which had its own video where I talked about the fact that that game is dying, which is a shame. I kind of like the game. But the first one I'm going to touch on is DC Worlds Collide. This will not run if you are trying to do BlueStacks 4, but if you do BlueStacks 5, it does work. Trying to do it through APK Pure, the app itself, doesn't really ever seem to yield the result. Like, I can't find it when I search directly in the app, but if you go to Chrome on your BlueStacks and you search DC Worlds Collide APK, it will actually find it through the APK web interface, and then you can install it that way. So there it is, DC Worlds Collide. It is a interesting game. So a friend of the channel, Darth Plato, had recommended it to me back a while ago, and when I saw some footage of it, I was like, oh, it seems really kiddie. The graphics are just kind of almost cartoony. I don't know about it. It's getting me. It's surprisingly hooking me. So for those of you who do play the game, if you 20-minute supply, if you happen to know about the game, yeah, let me know who you think I should get for the summons that I have. So basically, recruits and... Oh, this is actually a random... Alright, I'll go ahead and use one of these now. There are some that allow you to pick... Oh, yeah, see, okay. Here, so if you happen to play the game, let me know who you think I should pick from this list. I already have Black Canary. I already have Huntress and Dr. Freeze. This entire row, I do have Mirror Master. And this entire row, I think I maybe have the Question. Let's actually... Well, okay. Let's go to my roster first. So right now I have Batman, which the game gives you. I have Constantine, which was given as a 7-day newbie login. Black Canary, Huntress. We've got Captain Cold over here. I do have Black Manta. I forgot about that. I haven't really used him yet. Catwoman, which was my original green DPS. Now Huntress is there. King Shark, who is so very not intimidating in this game. I mean, look at how goofy... like, this is not intimidating for Baby Shark over here to just be gnawing on his finger. I have yet to watch the second Suicide Squad. The girlfriend and I will get around to it, but more on that in a moment. Not intimidating, really, to be honest. Batgirl, otherwise known as one of the best butts in all of DC, if you go back to the original Batman live-action show. Mirror Master. Starfire, who is an epic, but yet I've totally abandoned her. I just don't really use her much at all anymore. Clayface, which I usually don't use that much, or I like to call him Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Captain Boomerang, never use. I do have the Question. And then you have these grunts of the Amazon Soldier, the other Amazon Soldier, a Mercenary, the Pyro from TF2, and Lab Robot, aka Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. So this is my roster currently, and if I go to my free gift section, that's over at Motherbox. This is the ones you can use directly. So who do you think I should get from this list? Originally I wanted a green DPS and then pulled Huntress, because I didn't have a lot of green characters, a lot of reds and blues. So I'm good there. Who do you think I should get? Cryptid token. Upgrade materials. And a random rare character. Well, this one I can kind of figure out is whichever one is close to leveling up. And then you can go to the mother box over here, and you can summon this way. So I've got 11 of the premium summoning tickets and 17 of the epics. Unlocks after... Oh, it looks like you can try to get a desired character out of that. That's kind of cool for them to do. And so when you log in, you have this that you collect about once a day. And as you progress through the missions and everything, you begin to unlock more things around here in your nice, well-lit Batcave. You could think of this as the Batcave if he wasn't antisocial. You have mail over here. You have, standard maintenance compensation and everything. You have a store over here, which you can spend your gold in, or your gems, which is your premium currency. I like to go for ones where I know I can get a level up out of it. So here for Baby Shark, technically, I could do it because I get 10 there from that one, 10 there from that one. And then if you go to characters and we go to Baby Shark and we go to the rank up. See, just not intimidating. He looks so babyish. So now I have a red star, so it seems like I have progressed beyond the yellow stars. And now I'm at red stars, so it's getting very close to Marvel Strike Force here. And you can level the characters up by hitting that button. If you hit auto equip, it equips gear. You may not want to do that because if you have characters that you are currently favoring giving gear to, you don't want to go ahead and slap a whole bunch of gear on a character that you're not really using that much. I'm going to give Constantine these green shoulders as they're better, and I actually use Constantine. And when you have your gear equipped, you can actually, if you hit replace, that's what sets it. And then you can go ahead and enhance it by either using EXP or, similar to some other games that we've seen, you can use old gear. Just like Final Fantasy Record Keeper and some other games. So you can kind of keep your inventory clear by throwing old gear at new gear. And when you look at the gear inventory, you can see who is currently wearing something. So it looks like I have a free helmet, several free shoulders, no free chest pads. I have an epic piece of gear over here, and Huntress has got it. I've got a free necklace, another free tag, and a free locket. So, your character roles in this game are based on whether or not you're a tank, a DPS, or a healer, so it's the typical trilogy. And then you have red, blue, and green. And similar to kind of what you would expect, red is stronger than green. So if you think of red as fire and green is simply like earth and trees, red is stronger. And then blue, if you think of it as water, blue is stronger than red and green is stronger than blue. So there is your rock, paper, scissors of the whole thing there. Let's go. As you can see from the graphics and everything, it is maybe kiddish is a harsh word. Slightly more cartoonish. It's not the most realistic looking graphics in the world. Surprisingly, it will get you with the gameplay. So if you go into archive, you can get into character files, and you can read up on some intel and bio on your characters. And when you recruit characters, you can actually collect a bit of a reward from them. When it comes to DC stuff, I'm just maybe not always as interested in DC the way that I am with Marvel. And that kind of leads me to one of the other things I wanted to talk about in this video is the fact that DC Legends is now bye-bye for me. About a month ago, I decided to leave DC Legends completely behind. For a few days after my decision, I was logging in and kind of collecting shards and maybe doing some dailies. But well over a month ago, I said goodbye to the Alliance. I still sit in their Discord and decided to leave the game behind. It was not a really big sunk cost fallacy, believe it or not, because I didn't spend that much money on the game. I largely did that one free to play. There were some characters that I loved so much that if they happened to come around for money, I would do stuff like Dr. Poison and Siren. And then there were some characters that were so ridiculously meta, like Black Flash. Yeah, the zombie speedster in there. He was kind of the Spitfire of the game, and if he came around, I'd spend a little bit of money on him because you couldn't escape him, really. So, what really did it for me with DC Legends, I kept telling some people, like some friends of the channel, that raids are what would do it. That I would want to get out of that game because of the raids that occur once a month. When raids first started around the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, some of the weeks fell, like the very first raid week fell like right when COVID lockdowns were really starting, and everybody was out of their minds. Nobody knew what was going on. It was a very tense weekend to be worrying about that stuff. And then the next one was kind of good. And then the next one was like around my dad's birthday, and it was tough to do. What you have to do to be a top 100 guild or alliance in that game is 75 attacks Thursday and Friday, and then 50 attacks, and then 25 attacks. Those 275 days are utterly ridiculous. To sit there and think about playing a game 75 fights worth over there. Now, a lot of what I do for mobile games is I secondary game them. So on this computer over here, I might have like Overwatch or World of Warcraft or like a primary game, something that's like on Steam or Battle.net or maybe remote controlling my Xbox or PlayStation downstairs. That's what I do as a primary game, like a AAA game. On my secondary setup, which is now my Razer laptop, that's what I do my secondary games as. Any of the mobile games, Marvel Strike Force, DC Legends, Final Fantasy Record Keeper, things that you don't have to pay 90% brain attention to. Well, the raids, you spend hours doing them, so you're locked into just doing DC Legends, and then you can't do anything else. Yes, you can auto them. You can make a good team, fight the raid boss, and auto it, but it's so time consuming to just sit there and actually do that for 75 attacks worth. So that raids are what I kept saying is probably going to do it to me. And then the Alliance had a bit of a split, where we went from one alliance that was part of a cluster, and why are they not? That's weird. Why are they not showing me the enemy? Okay, that was a little odd. It just showed me my team. Huh? Maybe that's a new change. So just trying to focus on 75 attacks worth of the rating and everything was just pretty much ridiculous. And it gave you no time to do any other game. It was just, you had to do your 75 attacks. And when the alliance split happened, where we went from a daily guild to an alliance raid-based alliance, and that's where the main focus was, that's when I started to dislike the game a lot. So around Christmas, and especially a little after, what really got me out of the game was you had these things called Speed Force. And the Speed Force is what allowed you to auto a mission. Now, you had the PvE Alliance dailies, which encouraged you not to auto. You actually could not progress your dailies if you did auto. Character limit. That's interesting. So, it's what the problem was there is that all of a sudden, Speed Forces stopped dropping. And I went to go do my not PvE dailies, my PvP dailies, and those are the days you run your missions on auto. And all of a sudden, it was like, yeah, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do that? You're out of Speed Force. I'm like, the hell you say? I haven't been out of Speed Force in like 5 years. So sure enough, out of Speed Force. I went, wow, how did this happen? It always self-maintained itself. So I went and got like a Speed Force pack for a bunch of gems, and I was okay for a little while, like a week or so went by, and then it happened again. And I had been complaining on Discord and in Alliance chat. I'm like, guys, is anybody else running out of Speed Force over here? This is ridiculous. And a couple people started to say yes, they had. And once I got some confirmation, and it happened again that second time that I ran out of Speed Force, that's it. I was done at that point. I had no desire to continue playing the game because I smelled what was coming, and sure enough, they really started pushing sales of Speed Forces. So that was it. I was like, this game is turning greedy. Other people are saying they're seeing it too. I'm out. Like, wow, are you gonna... you're not gonna show me the enemies anymore? Oh, there we go. Okay. That's weird. So we can see we've got a bunch of blues and a bunch of greens, so that makes red an interesting prospect over here. Catwoman's not really that strong for me. Okay. This should be interesting. So, yeah, DC Legends was out. And then the other one that I have largely abandoned, although I do actually log in like once a day, that is Marvel Future Fight. Marvel Future Fight I haven't completely abandoned. It's not uninstalled like how I did for DC Legends. I still log in. I still check into the Alliance. I still send stuff to my game friends, and I check my inbox. But I'm not actively playing that game anymore. I use it for a lot of reference materials and videos where I do like uniform comparisons and everything. It's just not really doing it for me anymore. And one of the main reasons why is there's so much to do. And you may think, well, wait a minute, Napalm, that means there's a lot of content in the game and it's tough to get bored. You don't get a lull in activity. Yes and no. Sometimes when you have a game that has too much that you could do, it becomes overwhelming. And it's like, man, look at all this stuff that I could do in this game. Do I have to? And then you hit quests for a couple weeks where you have to do your 10 things a day, and then you get the tokens, and if you miss a day, you can't afford, the expensive thing anymore and stuff like that. So, yeah, Marvel Future Fight is largely off my radar at this point. Not uninstalling it, but I don't play it that much. DC Legends was easy to get rid of because I'm just not that into DC characters. I know this is predominantly a Marvel channel when it comes to covering these games and everything, but it is... That's just the truth. For those who like both sides of the fence, the Coke and the Pepsi, you know, more power to you guys. That's fine. If you happen to prefer DC over Marvel, that's fine too. You do you. You have your freedom. I just prefer Marvel over DC. If I went to a restaurant that was like, yeah, we have Coke, we have Pepsi, and I was a Coke fan, then Marvel is my Coke. And Pepsi is my, well, okay, it's here, I'll drink it. It's the same way, you know, with the DC games. DC Legends really came on when Marvel Avengers Alliance died. And it was a way of having a similar type of game to Marvel Avengers Alliance. Easy to get rid of because I didn't spend a lot of money. Easy to get rid of because I just don't care about DC characters that much. This game I truly thought I was not going to care about. But it has been fun so far. And they give you an interesting amount of things here to do. You have... yeah, why can't I start that? That's interesting. So I've already done this one. Am I missing a requirement for this one? Oh, 5:30. There it is. So you have these, like, mini spec ops and everything. I've already cleared the first one. You just click through spots on the map and you get into fights. You have the main stages. You have your little lounge over here. You can do the character files, which we saw before. Gallery seems to be sort of like Marvel Duel, where you fill in some pictures. Collection is not available to me yet, although it's coming close. Hall of Justice I just recently unlocked. That's where you can do guilds and everything. Am I happy I spent years in DC Legends? Yes, because I got to learn about some characters, and I'm seeing them here. I mean, had I not played DC Legends, I wouldn't really know that much about Huntress. Black Canary, of course, has had some shows and everything recently, but I didn't know much about her, or Mirror Master. Clayface, I mean, I grew up with 90s Batman there, so I know who Clayface is. Captain Boomerang, of course. First Suicide Squad. Question I never heard of until now. So, I mean, DC Legends did its job and introduced me to DC characters that were not mainstream and I'd never heard of. However, I didn't care to really push further with them. Some, like Steppenwolf, I thought was pretty cool. And there were some characters in the game that I really, really liked. But to push into their backstory and find their media, I didn't do. Now, compared to Marvel Avengers Alliance, when I first started seeing Nico and Carolina, and especially Molly Hayes, I went and tried to find out stuff about the Runaways. Playing Marvel Avengers Alliance made me go out and get the House of M comics. Literally, the only comic books I own are the Dark Tower series from Stephen King and House of M. That goes to show you how much I care about that story. Cloak and Dagger. That's another one. When I read about them in the game, I wanted to consume their media, and then both Runaways and Cloak and Dagger showed up on streaming, and I couldn't wait to watch them and loved both shows, and I'm so sad they're dead. I never felt that way about DC. DC didn't make me want to go like, oh, I gotta go see Suicide Squad because of X and Y. I have the second Suicide Squad on DVD. Got it at Christmas. Girlfriend and I haven't watched it yet. We've had tons of Friday date nights where we sit down and want to watch something. It hasn't been this free DVD that I have. It's not that we don't want to. There's no pull to it. Peacemaker, friend of the channel Darth, has spoken highly of Peacemaker a couple times. The guy's opinion I respect on those matters. Not that really interested. Oh, I hear the opening dance is fun. It's a good show. Don't care. that's just how I feel about the DC universe. And, you know, I apologize for that. Don't mean to offend any DC fans. So, yeah, there's my 2022 so far. Largely have gotten out of Marvel Future Fight. Still want to keep it around, obviously, because of the fact that I use it for a lot of references when I do my costume comparison videos and everything. Future Fight is great for that. Roster battles. When a new character shows up in Marvel Strike Force, like Kate, I have to do a new Avengers video here soon. I'll go into Marvel Future Fight and show you what Kate looks like or what her moves are, and then go to Marvel Avengers Alliance. DC, though, that was really easy. Like, once I left that, I did about 3 or 4 days after and then got rid of. And from my normal BlueStacks 4 in this PC, it's right around the 64 gig space limit. So, yeah, DC Legends left. Hardcore. So this DC Worlds Collide, yeah, it's hooking me a little bit. You can see it's somewhat cheesy play. You're not really picking skills and everything. Your guys are just doing their stuff. And then when you have the gems, sort of like Hearthstone mana, or when the Marvel card game was alive for a little while, and also kind of Marvel Duel your purchasing power. You know, you get their ultimates, and you saw that I had like a tanking ultimate with Captain Cold, who put a shield. Black Canary went ahead and healed the team. Others have DPS ultimates. Some are AoE like Constantine. Some are single target. It's basic, but it's actually getting me. I'm like getting the hook there a little bit. Marvel Future Revolution still clocking along. I'm sad to see Realm of Champions go, and I'm still playing Marvel Duel. Back up at the rank that's below Black, Gold, Platinum, and that season's about ready to be over, so gonna try and get my Platinum ranking for the season again, which is not really too big of an issue. That game is fun. It's thinking man's game to come up with decks and everything. So, that's it for me today. Those are 2 games that have dropped so far in 2022, and 1 game that I've picked up. Future Revolution, I don't really consider that as picked up. It's been around for a while. It's been on my radar for a bit. DC Worlds Collide is a little bit of a surprise. As for Marvel Avengers Alliance Beta 4, what's going on over there? Sorry guys, don't really have an update. Wish it did. Starting to get a little antsy about it. Starting to feel like I wish I had some stuff to talk about with you guys, but I'm just not getting the greatest amount of source input at this time. And of course, the plot team, the writing team, the development team, however you want to phrase it, within Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux has suffered some losses in 2022, and it's extremely sad. And it's also a rather large impact. So we're trying to get together to do a few things there. We may be looking for donations for one of the widows over there to do something nice. So if that happens and we're looking to the community for help, I will let you guys know. Of course, it is a completely earth-shattering event. What happened when the team lost Black Max a couple weeks ago. Definitely very sad, and I've lost somebody that I've conversed with quite a bit on Facebook. You know, a good 90% is friends, sometimes 10% is enemies on topics, but yeah, the world lost a staunch defender of what was right when Black Max passed away. But hopefully sometime soon I will have some Beta 4 updates for you guys, but as of right now I don't. So I will be seeing you guys in the near future with hopefully a new Avengers video for Marvel Strike Force, because Kate has dropped, and maybe run some comparisons of the new Avengers to other games that have had Marvel characters. And we'll go from there. See you guys.